Welcome to the Gym Breakthrough Podcast. This show is about one thing and one thing only, turning your gym into a thriving business you love to own. So if you want to know what it really takes to grow your membership, make more money, and build a rock-solid community of raving fans, you've come to the right place. All this information is 100% free, so please subscribe to and review our podcast. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Gym Breakthrough Podcast. I'm Marcus Gurzy, and today I'm going to be providing you guys some actionable information along with some copy and paste swipe files that we've put together to help you navigate the coronavirus dilemma that we are all facing right now. So the focus today is going to be around helping you transition to a virtual gym model in case you haven't already. And if you have, hopefully beefing that up to make sure that you can maintain as much of your member base as possible. All right, so that said, quick announcement before the show. Our podcast is finally up on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and pretty much everywhere else that you listen to your favorite shows. So now you can listen to us on the go or during your next 5K row. Please be sure to subscribe. And if you find the content that we share with you valuable, a 5-star review would mean the world to us. And P.S., this is episode 26. And you will be able to find episodes 1 through 25 on there already in case you want to catch up on any that you may have missed in the past. All right, so let's get to it. And I'm going to be working from my notes here today just because I have quite a bit I want to cover. So please excuse any awkward pauses or whatever. So, all right, let's get into it. So the goals for today's show really are to provide you guys guidance during this crazy time that we are in. And like I said, we're going to provide you guys some copy and paste communications that you can edit to your liking to hopefully help you with sending out some of these communications to your community and a few other assets we've put together. And basically, you are now transitioning to or have transitioned to a virtual gym model. And what we want to cover here today is how to make sure that we can communicate and deliver as much perceived value to our community as we possibly can, aka keep as many people at their regular membership rates as possible. And also we want to help keep you guys sane as you go through this. So let's start with that. So I understand how crazy this is, and I understand how scary this is, and it really is for all of us, guys. This is not something that you guys are getting hit with. You know, I have family that is in the service business and are in the exact same boat as you guys are, and it's really scary. All that said, though, I believe that we have the ability to choose our own experience in this life, and so this is an opportunity to where you can either choose to give into the fear and into the panic, which I don't know if you've ever experienced that before, but usually it doesn't lead you to making great decisions nor having any sort of a great experience. Or you can choose to step into your power and be the leader in your community, because ultimately that's what your community needs. You need to be the leader for your tribe. People are panicking and they're seeking leadership. Think about it. The massive amount of negative inputs that are coming at them from the media, social media, everything is just total chaos. And what that does is people who don't know how to manage that well are going to just play into it and go along with it. And again, there's lots of scary things happening with people losing jobs and all sorts of things, right? And this is your chance to really step into your leadership role for your community and to be that bright light for them, to be the anchor for them. As all this other chaos is happening, you can provide the positivity. You can help them stay strong in body and in mind as they go through this, which is going to serve everyone, you with your business and obviously them and their experience in their life. So one thing I would suggest right out of the gate is to be very cognizant of the inputs that you're allowing into your life. So try to minimize your TV watching and following the news on your phone and everywhere else, and try to just amp up the positive inputs that you have in your life. So replace the negative ones with as many positive activities and inputs as you can, right? So that means meditate more, breathe more, read something that helps you get pumped up. You have to stay in control. Because if we give the control to the panic, then you're just at the mercy of whatever's flying at you, versus you maintaining control over your headspace and maintaining the control of your experience through this. It doesn't mean that things aren't going crazy, but it does mean that you can at least control the one thing you have control over, which is how you are experiencing the situation. And that is going to allow you to be a better leader for your people. And I encourage your members to do the same thing, by the way. Tell them, hey guys, stay positive, stay off the news as much as you can, follow the CDC, but stay off of Fox and all this other garbage where they are just, remember, they are in the business of getting your attention. So they are doing whatever they possibly can to maximize you watching their shows and clicking their links and all that sort of thing, just spinning things into whatever scary version they can and or staying one step ahead of things and really playing into this panic. And it's really unfortunate that that's how the media works, especially during a time like this when you would hope everyone would be trying to strengthen one another and support one another. But it is what it is. So for yourself, minimize it and encourage your members to do the same. And if you are finding yourself struggling to where you are really questioning what's going on and, what do I do? I encourage you, sit down and ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Why is it imperative that you help your community with their fitness? Why did you get into this business in the first place? And check back into your purpose to make sure you have access to that and can leverage that against some of the panic and fear, because it's going to crop up throughout the day from time to time, no matter what. And the difference is in giving into it versus being able to power through it and remind yourself of what you're doing and how important it is that you're leading your people and all that. Okay, so let's get to some tactics here. So number one, if you were one of the few gyms that have not yet been forced to shut down or chosen to shut down, and you have not started doing this yet, start offering virtual workouts immediately. So you have to provide as much value as possible. People will not be okay with just basic at-home workouts, you guys. And I know a lot of you guys are already getting hip to this. There's some good information floating out there around all of this. But if you have closed your doors already, and then I'm hopefully going to add some value to how you're doing this so that you can do it really well. Your number one priority right now should be around preserving your memberships at the regular rate as much as you can. That said, in order to do that, we have to provide enough value and make sure that we are standing out beyond the cheaper online workout options, and really, we just got to make sure we're providing enough value. So just delivering some basic at-home workouts isn't going to do the trick. So that's what we're going to get into right now. So let's start with the virtual classes. So obviously, I'm going to share with you guys some examples and ways, but obviously run this through your own filter and come up with your own version if you feel like you have a better idea. And please share in the comments as you have ideas or you're implementing things that are working so that the whole community can benefit from this. So what we suggest is doing a Zoom live or doing Zoom workouts or virtual workouts or virtual classes basically, and then sharing those videos in your private members group. And don't worry, we're going to be addressing having non-members or people who went on hold in your group a little bit later. Right now, let's just focus on the virtual classes. So what we suggest is that you actually do 2 classes daily, and they're not the same class. So one of them is your workout. And the other one can be either a mobility session or a guided meditation or a breathing session, whatever suits you best in your community and whatever you have to offer. But I think offering 2 different types of classes for people to participate in is going to add a lot more value than what, just having a workout. And by the way, I don't think it's necessary for you to host multiple classes of the same thing, because if you have people who are participating live while you're doing it and you have it on a Zoom call and everyone can see each other working on, make sure you encourage everyone to have the cameras on so everyone can see each other's faces, then they have access to that video, and someone watching that after the fact is going to have the same experience because they see everyone and basically they just get to play along. So you don't need to have the redundancy of the same classes happening, like we've got a morning class, an evening class. Instead, mix it up. Now, for the workout class, I would suggest that you structure it very much like a class. So that means you start off with maybe some daily motivation or a thought for the day or a topic of the day or maybe an icebreaker question. Then guide them through a warm-up. So this is not just telling them what to do. Remember, this is like a class. So either have an assistant or a family member or someone with you that you are actually guiding through this in real time, because people should be participating in real time. So start them off with whatever warm-up you've got and whatever stretches and things, whatever you want to do to get them ready for the workout, and then start the actual workout itself. Now for the workout itself, keep in mind, guys, people are holed up in their houses and they are stressed out enough. So don't overdo it. Keep it really simple. Your intention for your programming, I think, should be for helping people feel awesome, not crushing them. Okay. We're no longer right now in the state, I think, where we need to be providing people with total beat downs of any kind. This should be something that should make them feel good. And this is also something I would encourage them to do with the whole family. So try to keep it very simple if you can. And we're going to talk about equipment here in a second. Also, I would suggest that you do these 5 or 6 days a week, as much as possible, basically, because the overall intensity is lower. Let them know, hey, the programming is going to be a little bit different, and it's more important that you do it more frequently than it is to show up 3 days a week and wreck yourself with the workout. We'd rather you move your body a little bit every day so that you can feel good and have some good hormones released and all that good stuff. Once you finish the workout, by the way, post this to your group. And by the way, when you do your workout, so let's say you have it scheduled for 10 a.m., I would suggest that maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, you would send out an email to your whole active member list, letting them know, hey, work class starts in 2 hours or whatever. Here's the link to the Zoom call. And that way people have enough warning, they can join. They then participate, obviously make the announcement in your private Facebook group as well. And then once the workout's done, you're gonna post that video there and you're gonna encourage everyone, tell us what you did in the comments or a picture or a video of yourself, just to maximize the engagement and the participation for your people. All right, so let's see here. Cool, all right, so let's talk about equipment. So there's a couple different paths you can go with this, and there's a variety of different opinions on this, so I'm just gonna give you both. So one option is to loan out your equipment. Now, what I'm seeing is that this really only works in smaller communities that have plenty of equipment. Because what happens is what you don't want to do is that this person gets a barbell, this person gets a dumbbell, this person gets a sandbag, this person is taking I even heard people like taking rowers and all that. This is going to make programming really challenging. So, if you can come up with a good solution for it, fine, have a checkout sheet, make sure you document everything. And I've gotten this question a couple of times. This is for paying members only. You are not just loaning equipment out to the random community at large. This is for active paying members who are staying with you, okay? So again, keep it simple, basics only. Now, another path that I have seen now a couple of gyms take that I think is really, really smart, and this is probably what I would do, is they put together their own sandbags. And I think what you can do there is you can create maybe like a men's and a women's bag. So call it a 10-pounder, a 20-pounder, or whatever you think is appropriate. Keep in mind here, you can't just do basic sandbag because people are going to be using these in the living room. So you want to make sure that sand doesn't go everywhere. So double bag your sandbags to keep it from getting messy. But I've been hearing of people who have been going to like a Tractor Supply and making their own sandbags and then actually dropping them off at their members' houses overnight or having people come and pick them up. I think the drop off is the way better way to go because people are freaking out. They won't want to leave their houses, and you want to make it as easy as possible to continue on with your membership. Take the friction points out. It's not a big deal to load them up in your car or to divide and conquer with your spouse or your team, and to spend a couple of hours driving around town, dropping them off. And what I would do as well is ask them, hey, how many people do you have in your house that want to work out? So spouses, kids, as long as there's a paying member in the house, I would provide the sandbags for everyone so everyone can work out together. This is going to be a really great bonding opportunity for everyone who's stuck at home, who's not used to being home this much together, to do something positive together that you are the facilitator of. Okay, so remember, it's a really powerful position to be coming from. So I like the sandbag route, having a few different weights, and that way you can make it really simple with your programming other than people trying to do kettlebell swings with their 1 10-pound plate or whatever you had. But do what suits you best. I think it's great to provide the equipment though. That way you're not just leaving people on body weight and people are going to get bored of that real quick. And again, the perceived value is a lot lower that way. Not to mention this is a really cheap solution. Okay, so the next layer here, and we've been getting a lot of questions about this. And again, there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this. And it's about like providing nutrition coaching or doing a challenge. I think that getting into like the more serious, like specific nutrition coaching might be a little overkill. Now you may have already a very established, how can I say, or you may have a member base where it's very established that this is what we do and nutrition is a huge part of what we already do and it was already very integrated, in which case, awesome, go down that path. But in most cases, guys, right now, people do not want to be weighing and measuring what they're doing and worrying about macros too specifically. Again, people are in a fight or flight state most of the day. So try to make this easy. So instead of maybe doing like a nutrition challenge, we suggest doing something like a vitality challenge and making it more about people just having something positive to engage in, and that helps keep their minds off of the craziness and help them keep their minds and their bodies as strong as possible. Again, people are cooped up at home and they've got lots of non-perishable foods and snacks and Netflix, which is going to lead to a really dangerous combination here really quickly for a lot of people, at least newer members in particular. So we want to provide them some support with this. I think that there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, but I think doing a simple challenge like daily or weekly goals that aren't stressful but make them feel better and help build immunity. So maybe drinking water and eating well, and maybe that's just, hey, make sure you have fruit and vegetables with every meal. Moving your body every day. Give them something to journal about, like, hey, some gratitude prompts to keep people's headspace positive. Make them go outside, go for a walk. Make sure they're getting ample sleep. Make sure they're taking their supplements that you've put together for their home wellness or whatever you've got. That kind of thing. And we even have Emily, who's often on the show here with me, is not here today. She's got some stuff going on. She's taking care of her gym. Is that you can provide, she's even doing like a bingo, like a wellness bingo or a vitality bingo thing. I'll see if we can share that with you guys in the swipe file that we provide you guys as well. But either way, I think that providing something here without charging more for it, okay? Remember, we're trying to keep people just on our full regular paying membership and not trying to upsell people. I've seen some people try to do that and it did not go well in almost all cases. Yes, there are exceptions, but in most cases, you're probably not in a position to do that to where you're like, hey, on top of keeping your membership active, why don't you upsell to this premium membership? It's not going to happen. People are in panic mode. People are losing jobs. So I'm not saying there aren't exceptions, but in most of your cases, I would just be trying to maintain that and provide as much value for that as I can, rather than discounting your membership and saying, well, we've got just the workout one or the nutrition option. Just provide as much value as you can, which is why I think keeping it really simple and helping them just stay healthy with the movement and then the nutrition and a little bit of the psychology piece with this challenge is a really efficient and valuable way to go. All right. So now let's go to communication. Oh, and by the way, another thing I would highly encourage you to do is make a list of all of your members, and I would be personally reaching out to every single person on rotation. So break it up. Hey, I'm going to check in with 10 people or 20 people every day and just send them a personal text. Hey man, how are you doing? Anything I can do to help? You're jumping on phone calls, whatever you got to do, stay connected, keep the relationship going and show them that you are here to help guide them through this. Maintain your position of, I'm here to be your leader and help keep you strong mentally, physically, emotionally as you go through this. So I want to check in on you. We care about you. It's the same thing as when you were coming into the gym. It's just virtual for the time being. Okay. All right. So on that note, communication, lots of it. So aside from the one-on-one check-ins, making sure that you keep your members group super active. Look, we're a virtual gym now versus a brick and mortar gym for the time being, right? So everything you should be continuing to create just as much content for internal and external as possible. So internally, all of your fun daily stuff that you used to do of, so-and-so killed it in the workout today and fun stuff that's happening, inspirational stuff, keep it positive. Guys, we want to make sure that we are that bright spot for people throughout the day. When they see a notification from us come through, that they want to click through and check it out. So lots of communication internally, and by the way, externally too. So no, we're not trying to necessarily get new members right now, but keep in mind, this will be over at some point. And there are a lot of people who are stuck at home, or everyone is stuck at home and spending most of their day on social media, on the computer, on watching TV and whatnot. So people will be still seeing your stuff. So what I would suggest is just basically just shift, rather than showing your classes in the morning, 7 a.m. classes off the hook, and who left the plates out, X amount of burpees for so-and-so and whatnot. All the same things that you were doing before, just shift what it was about. So awesome session this morning. Look, we had so many people and so stoked to keep everyone healthy. And man, we heard so-and-so's doing this cool meal prep train thing where they're going around and doing food delivery, whatever it is, just share it. Share the positivity inside and out. Another cool thing you could be able to do too is providing a very simple DIY home workout on your public feed, which could be more like your travel workout type thing where it's like, hey, here's the free at-home workout for the day. It needs to be drastically different, as in the opposite end of the spectrum though, from what your members are paying for with the guided virtual sessions and the accountability and the follow-ups and the nutrition vitality challenge, all that sort of thing. That's what your people are paying for. So just be careful. You don't want to just start putting that out publicly. Otherwise people can be like, well, I'll just put my membership on hold and do the free stuff. Right? But keep in mind, there's a lot of people in your direct community, indirect community, who are still going to see this, that you can still be providing value for, which in whether it's 2 weeks or it's in 2 months, will likely want to be getting out of their homes that they've been cooped up in and getting out and finding some social connection and undoing all of the top ramen and cookies they've been eating at home and getting back in shape. So it'll be a really good opportunity, I think, when this is all said and done. So keep that channel active. All right, so let's talk about the communication around transitioning and everything that's happening, right? So if you are still open and when you're going to have to transition to this virtual model at some point, whether it's today or it's a week from now, there's still a few pockets throughout the country that have been affected very minimally. But I warn you, it is a matter of when, not if. So I really think that it's better to get ahead of it. Start providing this for people who've chosen to self-quarantine as your classes start to get smaller and you approach that line a little bit closer. Start providing this right away for people, saying, hey, as an alternative, we, some of you are choosing to self-quarantine. We totally support that. We're going to continue to support your health, your fitness via our virtual classes. So you can start participating with that. So start with that initial announcement. Then there's going to be the announcement of we are officially transitioning. We're closing our doors so that we can support you guys virtually. Nothing is changing. We are just going to continue to provide. We're going to continue to provide the community and workouts and classes every single day, except you're going to be able to do them from home. And we're going to provide you guys with sandbags. And we're also going to do this vitality challenge. There's that communication, right? And then basically at that point, you've made the shift, right? But there's a couple other things I want to talk about, just kind of zooming out from this. And I apologize, guys. I know I may be hopping all over the place here, but I just want to make sure that I cover all of this as I think of it. But finances are going to be a challenge for a lot of you, and this can be really scary. So what we want to do is get ahead of all of that as well. So there's some suggestions I would encourage you to do. So number one, contact your service providers and ask for forbearance now. So your rent, your membership billing or softwares or whatever you can ask for forbearance on in advance, that's not critical, right? There's going to be some services that you probably don't want to mess with, but there's a lot of these bigger companies or things that are tied to the banks and your credit cards and lines of credit. Contact them all right now. As in, when this episode is done, stop what you're doing and go do that, because there is going to be a pile to the ceiling and back of people who are going to be doing this once it's already happening. So if it's not already hit the fan in your community, go to your local bank, get the ball rolling right now. Call your banker, set up an appointment, get in there. They are going to have an endless flow of applications and people asking for money and loans and all of that here soon if they don't have it already. And just make sure you go prepared, ready to go, have your finances cleaned up and your P&L ready and whatever reports you need to have, just bring your computer if you need to, and just be ready to provide whatever you need in order to get the ball moving right away. Because there's going to be oftentimes 2 to even 8 weeks before something could get processed if you even get approved. So make sure that you get on top of all of that stuff as well. So SBA loans, by the way, you want to find an SBA preferred bank. It goes much, much faster than a non-preferred. Credit cards, either apply for more cards if you can and contact and see if you can raise your limits on existing cards. Establish a line of credit or raise your limit, all that stuff, right? So that's try to get access to funding and then contact your service providers and ask for forbearance right away. So bring your expenses down as low as you can and try to bring your capital up as high as you can. And by the way, something around the loans or line of credits, something that I've been hearing some people do, which is a little bit more drastic, but it does put you in a stronger position is that when they do get the line of credit, they're cashing it out. They're basically taking all the money out and putting it into a savings account to make sure that they continue to have access for it, and would rather just pay the payment to make sure that that credit line doesn't get made smaller because of everything that's happening with the banking system. You have to understand, it's not just our industry. The entire planet is going to be going through a shift here, and the financial industry in particular is going to be going through some serious turmoil in the coming months. So make sure that you don't just assume that line of credit's going to stay where it is. It's going to change very likely. So it's not a bad idea to take whatever you have and somehow cash it out, put it in an account, sit on it. That way you make sure that you have it. And obviously if you don't end up using it, just pay it back, right? So just an idea that I heard yesterday. Okay, so let me shift gears here real quick. Okay, so let's get to some other ideas. So something else that I think you can do, by the way, a lot of people are like, well, what am I gonna do with my products? I can't sell that. I lose that revenue stream. Not necessarily. So I think that you can and still should sell supplements. People still need it if they're at home working out, and obviously depending on what you offer. I would suggest that you put together some sort of a basic bundle that goes along with your Vitality Challenge, or maybe it's your at-home well-being package or whatever you want to do. Keep it simple. Don't go nuts. Keep the pricing realistic. I'm even hearing some gyms that are just bringing the price down lower than they normally would to make sure that people aren't just switching to buying it on Amazon or online. Because remember, everyone is in trouble. So people are discounting things like crazy left and right. And what we don't want to have happen is that people get used to buying it somewhere else, and now you're not supported, right? So you can let them know, we've put these packages together. We've even discounted them in an effort to continue to support the gym. If you're going to get supplements, get them from us. Here are the options. And what you can do with that is then either, in some cases, people come and pick it up from the gym. But much like the sandbag idea, I don't think it's a bad idea to just drive around town, drop them off for your members. Again, it's the perceived value of the fact that, hey, we're coming to you. We want to make sure you're taken care of, and just leaving care packages on people's doorsteps. I think that's a great idea. Another way that you can make some money is to do a meal prep and delivery service. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of you do this. As a matter of fact, probably not even most of you. But some of you already dabble with this, or maybe you have a member or a coach who dabbles with this. Everyone is stuck at home, not wanting to go out, not wanting to deal with the craziness at the supermarkets. So this is a really good opportunity. I already have a friend of mine here locally who's doing it, and he is crushing it. Okay, so what you can do is just you be the one who goes and does the shopping and do the meal prep, and you're delivering it to everybody and making sure everyone has good, clean, healthy meals that they can eat without having to go out. The value of that is immense, and it may be a great way for either you or maybe someone on your team or one of your members who may be going through some hardship to make some extra money. So just want to put that out there for you guys as well. All right, so some common questions. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier. So what about non-paying members being in your members group when you start sharing your virtual workouts and providing all this additional value? So there's a couple different ways you can approach this. Depending on what you use to deliver your workouts, if you have Wodify or maybe FitHive, these types of platforms that deliver workouts in a really nice package where you can load your videos to it and do it all there. I think that's fine. And that can totally work, and you can figure out how you want to work that around with, only members getting the email, or paying members being on getting access via Wodify or whatever. I think though, this is a time where we just keep your life simple, and you can just take the non-members out of your group. Be sure you respectfully let them know why. Hey, we're transitioning to an online model. This group is going to be repurposed for active members only. We'd still love to have you as a part of the community. Here's what we're doing. If you'd like to participate, here's a chance on how to do so. If not, we totally understand. We'll see you when we see you. And just scrubbing your group, cleaning it up, so that way your members are going to be able to continue to communicate and engage in the place that they already like to communicate and engage in. Remember, we have to make sure that we are providing overwhelming value to your existing member base. And those who are choosing to go on hold, hey, we get it, we understand, but that means you're not going to continue to get access to all this awesome stuff, because you have to try to stay in business here, and people will need to understand. Also, something I just thought of, for people who are going on hold or people who are submitting holds, there's some pretty good templates floating out there around the internet. We've put one together as well in the swipe file that we'll be providing you guys. Something that when someone does send you a hold request or cancellation request, that you send something back that basically says like, hey, we understand everyone is, these are uncertain times for everybody. You may not know, but these are all the amazing things that we're providing for our members so you can continue to stay strong mentally and emotionally while you're at home going through all of this. We want to make sure we keep the community together. If you want to continue, we'd love to have you be a part of that. And, just let me know and we'll cancel the request. But if you still really need to cancel it, just let me know and we'll get it taken care of for you. So it's kind of like a second filter. And what we've been seeing is that that's actually been reducing it down quite a bit, because most people, or at least a lot of people, are doing it out of panic, out of fear, thinking, oh, well, I can't go to the gym anyway, and what am I going to do? When really they don't understand the value in staying healthy physically, mentally, while they're at home going through all this. And not to mention the power of community and having a pool of people that are that sunlight for you every day while you're stuck at home bummed out that you can't do anything and life is crazy. So we'll provide you guys with that as well. Let's see here. So another question, should I keep paying my staff? Okay, so this is a more complicated question. Here's what I think. Your staff is your product. They are literally what, I mean, for some of you who've worked hard to build this team and to cultivate this team of people who care and are a representation of your culture, and they are connected to your members, and they're also what's keeping you from having to coach every class and do every intro and every onboarding session and. So yes, I understand we want to keep our costs as low as we can. But if you are in a position to where you either have funding or access to funding, and you think, hey, you know what, I can afford to keep my at least full-time people paid for the next 2 months or so while we get through this without it killing the business, that's what I would try to do. Because again, these are the people who've been loyal to you. And remember, you are going to, because, hey, I need to cut my expenses, sorry, bro. How are they going to pay their bills? It's not just a matter of you saving yourself. Just remember the trickle-down effect that happens there too. And they're probably not going to be available nor want to work for you after this is done, if that is the case, because you're not really helping them out either. And it was a very short-term fire and all that. So just kind of keep that in mind here. So if you can swing it, I would swing it, because I'd want to maintain those core people, because once this is all said and done, I think there's going to be an abundance of opportunity with a lot less demand, or excuse me, a lot less supply than there is demand. So those gyms who are in a good position are going to have a lot of people looking for a new gym, because the reality is, I think that a lot of gyms aren't going to make it through this, at least not the ones who, go all in like this and connect with their people and do everything in their power to maintain as much of that membership base as they can. A lot of gyms don't have access to groups like this, nor business coaches like us, who are here to help guide you guys through this and make sure you come out the other end. So again, that said, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, I think, when this is behind us, in which case you want to have your team there ready to help you rebuild and take advantage of the additional inquiries and whatnot. I think it's going to be very much a second January, or a second New Year's rush, if you will, when things do start to open back up. So you want to have some people there that can support it and continue to provide that amazing experience that you were hopefully already providing before that. So that these new people come in and they're not getting some sort of just, hey man, we're just doing everything we can just to run classes. I'd still want to provide that 5-star experience of, that awesome intro session and personalized onboarding and all that kind of thing, so that I'm turning those people into lifers too, right? We don't want to waste that opportunity. So another option, I know that there's a lot of measures being put in place around workers' comp and all that, in which case you can tell your people, hey, look, this is the position we're in. I can't afford to keep paying your salary. So I'm going to fire you for the time being. You can go on workers' comp. They can get access, I think, almost immediately now in some places, if not everywhere. And that will get them a percentage of their income. Now, that's probably not going to be enough, given what most full-time people in this business make. It's still not an awesome living where there's going to be a bunch of leftover. So what I've heard some people do is that they say, hey, look, I'm going to terminate you and put you on, so you can collect workers' comp and all that. and I'm going to write you a check before I fire you as like your severance pay or whatever you need to classify it as basically the difference of what they would be receiving for their workers' comp and what you were paying them. So they don't see the hit, but that way you are only covering a fraction of it proactively, saying, hey, I can do this for a month or 2 months. Here's the difference ahead of time to show you that, we value you and we want to bring you back as soon as we can. This is as much as I can afford. Hopefully this helps. I think that gesture would go a really long way. Not to mention, you're going to still have a team when this is said and done. But all that said, I am not an attorney. I do not understand the ins and outs of how all this is working legally. So just make sure you check with someone who does, who can make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's and don't do anything that can backfire on you. Obviously, I'm just sharing all the tips and tricks I'm getting in real time here to give you some ideas to work with. All right. And as far as what you can do to prep for when all this stuff ends, nobody knows what it's going to look like quite yet, but we are going to be working day and night to help support you guys through this and continuing to share information, as well as trying to stay ahead of all of this so that we can help position you guys to have a great restart when you can reopen your doors and capitalize on the opportunity that is, again, more demand than there is supply, which is what we think will happen, assuming this doesn't drag out for 6 months. What should you be doing with all this extra downtime? Another question. So here's what I would say, guys. Take this as an opportunity to really dig in and work on your business. There is going to be a lot of demand for social connection and to lose that weight from being home, moving less, and eating all those snacks with a lot less supply, like I said. And the reality is, like I said, a lot of your competition probably isn't going to exist after this is all said and done. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but those who are prepared and who do survive this will have the opportunity, I think, to grow tremendously and turn. And you want to make sure that you have the business and the business plan to do so and actually convert each of them into raving fans of your business when the time comes and grow your business sustainably for the long run. We still, believe it or not, have gyms that are joining our program to do exactly that. And we do have some very special offers because of the circumstances for anyone who does. So if you are interested in getting some additional help, we have an amazing group of gym owners that are all working together in our private group for our clients who are going through our program and are getting tons and tons of additional support in real time from tools and one-on-one coaching based on their situation and circumstances to help them make sure they come out the other end of this thing okay. So on that note, and by the way, also, you can catch up on some podcasts since our podcast is now available on all your platforms. So tons of free info out there. Take this as an opportunity to work on your business. I know all of you, just like me and my team, we always have a backlog of all the things that we wish we could have been doing or just don't have time to be doing. Now's the time to do that. Work on your business, work on your mindset, and above and all, everything else, invest in your community, connect, build that value. So I want to thank all of you for joining today. We hope this episode was helpful for you, and please leave any feedback and or ideas that you have in the comments in the Facebook group. So if you're watching this live on Facebook, leave it in the comments below. If you're catching this on audio only, join the Breakthrough Gym Formula Facebook group. It's totally free for gym owners, and check out the comments. There's all sorts of good stuff getting passed around in here. That's it for today. We're working hard to stay ahead of all this for all of you as much as we can, and we will keep you posted on what we learn as we go as quickly as possible. Stay strong. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, bye-bye.